Hey, what's up everyone? Frosty here, back with another Hand of the Week video. I'm gonna have to balance my Hand of the Week video posting range with some losing hands in the future, but I was looking through all the hands and just most of the interesting hands seem to be ones that I'm winning all the money, making me look like a genius, so we're gonna continue with that theme today. So that's all we're gonna do for an intro. We'll just get right to the hand here. Right off the bat, I guess I usually like 3-betting a hand like ace-9 against a regular opening from the hijack, but with a weaker looking player in the small blind, I choose to call, which I think is a good play. Try to keep the recreational in the pot. There's probably more value in that than just c-betting and hoping the regular folds or we take it off him post-flop. But he folds, and they fold, and we go heads up to a 10 jack for 2-spade flop. So villain checks. I think we have an easy semi-bluff here. This is certainly a board texture that is perceived to hit us pretty often, I think, and the villain might have quite a few check folds here. I'm not expecting them to just check fold ace king or ace queen, but if they have a hand like pocket fives, I do think those hands are just going to check fold. And even if we get check raised, I mean we can call, I think, with our implied odds and direct odds. So I think it's a pretty much always going to be a slam dunk bet. I mean we have other hands we can check back, I think, but with regards to 8-9 suited, I think I like betting for sure. So we see a blank on the turn and villain checks again. So I think we should just keep betting. Like I think, like I said, villain's probably check calling with some ace highs on the flop, and they might just turn now, or sorry, fold the turn now without picking up additional equity, with only one more card to come. I think you're going to see that pretty often. They might have a hand like 10x, which may or may not fold. It depends on the villain, but regardless, with our straight equity, I think we should just semi bluff again. It's good. It's good to balance the times, of course, too. When we have the nuts, when we have the jack 10, the tens, the jacks, the fours, or whatever. And this is where the hand gets pretty interesting. We get check raised, and I just don't believe it at all. It just doesn't make any sense. Like if they had a set, you think they would just bet the flop or go for the check raise on the flop. Just given how wet the board is, to me it really doesn't make any sense to check call the flop and then check raise the turn, unless they have a hand like 4-3 of spades or pocket threes, which is just super unlikely. Like to me this usually looks like an ace queen, an ace king that just doesn't really want to check call again, or maybe like a king queen, even though I think that probably just bets the flop. It looks like something that just doesn't want to check call again, but doesn't want to just check fold, so they go for the check raise. Again, it's going to be pretty opponent dependent, but I think for the most part this looks pretty full of it. So unfortunately, I just have 9 highs, so there's not like a lot I can do right now. I mean, I could shove, I guess, if I wanted to, if I really thought he was completely full of it. But I think we're going to just have a good chance of winning this pot in the river, even if we don't hit our straight. And of course, if we do hit our straight and he keeps bluffing, that's great. But yeah, I just think if he has like ace king or ace queen, they're gonna be in a really hard spot to bluff the river. I'm just trying to think, like, what would I do with like pocket jacks here? Like, I would almost definitely call with my big hands just because of how bluffy this check raise looks. So I should have a pretty strong range on the river, I think. So that's what I choose to do, is just call with the intention of making a play on the river. It's going to be really unfortunate if we don't have an option to bet the river. Obviously, if our villain just bets big on the river or shoves, we're going to have to fold. But I really think that we're going to have a lot of opportunities here to steal the pot in the river. And of course, we have 8 outs, even with the spades. I think it's pretty unlikely villain has a flush draw, so I think we have 8 clean outs for the most part. And the 5 of spades, if we get checked to, is just an extraordinarily good bluff card. I mean, our range is always going to have flush draws this way, and villain's going to be in a really hard spot, even if they had a hand, even if they were check raising the turn with a really strong made hand. I think, like I said the whole time, I think it's unlikely, but if they were taking a weird line with a really strong hand. I think we're going to be able to bluff this card if we want to. And Dylan does check, and I mean I have 9 high. I'm not going to bail on my plan now. Let's just hope he wasn't playing a flush or a strong hand in a really weird way and chooses the call, but I think it's a pretty easy jam, and like I said at the start of the video, I'm gonna look like a genius this time, so I'm gonna have to find some hands that I lose in the future, but I do think the turn is that where it's kind of interesting. If you just think about the hands that he has, I just don't believe this at all. It's just like I said, I mean the board's so wet on the flop. You're going to want to bet your value hands, or you're going to want to check raise your value hands on the flop. It really doesn't make any sense to me to take a check call line on the flop and then check raise on the turn when you just are very unlikely to play your value hands in that manner. So it just looked really bluff heavy to me on the turn, and I'm glad I followed through on the river jam. Even if it wasn't the spade, I would still jam. Obviously, we need to take the pot away from ace high if he has those hands. So we sort of need to jam on any river. But yeah, I can't imagine we made a very strong hand fold here. I'm sure they just didn't have very much at all. So, anyways, that's all we got for this week's video. Let me know if you guys like the video. Hit the thumbs up so I know to keep making them. Otherwise, take it easy. Alright guys, it's been Frosty for Team Online. See you later.